Welcome to Xi Jinping Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Nikki Haley takes aim at Trump's silence on Putin's role in Navalny's death. One murder too many, Mr. Putin? It could be Ukraine's lifeline. Former Bank of China chairman indicted for bribery in nation's long-running anti-corruption drive. Europe is nervous about a potential Trump win. China sees an opportunity. The real challenge of Trump 2.0. Nikki Haley takes aim at Trump's silence on Putin's role in Navalny's death. The Globe and Mail. Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and a candidate for the Republican presidential nomination, has criticized Donald Trump for not condemning Russian President Vladimir Putin over the death of Alexei Navalny. Navalny was an imprisoned Russian opposition leader who died under suspicious circumstances. Haley accused Trump of being weak in the knees when it came to Putin, and claimed he had yet to say anything about Navalny's death. Haley's comments highlight the differences between her more hawkish foreign policy stance and Trump's isolationist outlook. One murder too many, Mr. Putin? It could be Ukraine's lifeline. The Sydney Morning Herald. The recent murder of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny could have an impact on the U.S. debate over supporting Ukraine and may discourage Republicans from aligning with Russian interests, according to Sir Lawrence Friedman, a leading analyst. Friedman noted that the U.S. is crucial to Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia, as it requires ammunition and new air defenses. Although the U.S. Senate approved a bill allocating $60 billion in military support to Ukraine last week, Trump supporters in the House, including Speaker Mike Johnson, refused to bring the bill to a vote. The bill was not voted on before Congress members left Washington for a 2-week recess. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has pleaded with the U.S. to continue supporting his country, stating that dictators do not go on vacation. Russia has captured the eastern city of Avdiivka, which marks its first battlefield breakthrough since May 2021. European leaders have increased their contributions to Ukraine, but ultimately, NATO is dependent on the U.S. Former Bank of China chairman indicted for bribery in nation's long-running anti-corruption drive. Associated Press. Former chairman of the Bank of China, Liu Liange, has been indicted on bribery charges. The charges include helping others with loans and personnel appointments in return for property in cash, as well as making loans in violation of regulations. Liu has been under investigation for over 10 months and the charges were brought in the city of Jinan in eastern China's Shandong province. The anti-corruption campaign in China, led by President Xi Jinping, continues to target business and government officials. Tang Xuanning, the former chairman of state-owned China Everbright Group, was arrested last month on suspicion of embezzlement and bribery. Europe is nervous about a potential Trump win. China sees an opportunity. CNN. China's foreign minister, Wang Yi, has promised that his country will be a staunch force for stability in the face of global changes. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, Wang's remarks were seen as an attempt to win over wary European leaders. The continent's politicians are concerned that a return of Donald Trump as U.S. president could undermine their alliance with Washington. Those fears were heightened after Trump stated that he would not defend NATO allies who did not spend enough on defense. The remarks coincided with Wang's visit to Europe as he attempted to repair Beijing's relationship with the bloc. However, some analysts argue that China's approach to relations with Russia could pose a significant obstacle to any progress in repairing ties. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, China has strengthened its ties with the country, offering it important economic support. This has increased concerns about China's global ambitions and led the EU to reconsider its policy towards the country. The real challenge of Trump 2.0. Foreign Affairs. If former President Donald Trump is re-elected in 2024, the international community will face a far more tumultuous experience during his second term in office. Trump has not changed his views much since leaving office, but his environment at home and abroad has, meaning he would be more dangerous in his second term. The U.S. is facing multiple wars, intensifying great power rivalry, and a fraying liberal order. Trump's team has done transition work that it didn't do the first time around, and they will be empowered by a transformed Republican Party and better positioned to bend bureaucratic politics to their will. Rivals and adversaries of the U.S. such as China and Russia would thrive under a second Trump term, while traditional friends of the U.S. such as European countries, Japan, and Western Hemisphere partners would suffer. Hello, viewers. It's your friendly neighborhood Dr. Six, reporting from the world of 6 degrees. I hope you're ready for some intriguing news updates, because we've got quite the lineup today. First up, former Governor Nikki Haley has taken a swipe at Donald Trump for his silence on Russian President Vladimir Putin's role in the death of Alexei Navalny. Haley accused Trump of being weak in the knees when it comes to Putin. Looks like there's some tension brewing between these two Republicans. Moving on, the recent murder of Navalny may have an impact on the U.S. debate over supporting Ukraine. Analysts suggest that Republicans may be discouraged from aligning with Russian interests. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been pleading for continued support, stating that dictators do not go on vacation. It's a critical time for Ukraine, and the U.S. plays a crucial role in its defense against Russia. In China, the fight against corruption continues, with former Bank of China chairman Liu Liang being indicted on bribery charges. President Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign has been targeting both business and government officials. Looks like no one is safe from the long arm of the law in China. Meanwhile, in Europe, there's nervousness about a potential Trump win in 2024. China's foreign minister, Wang Yi, is trying to win over wary European leaders, promising that China will be a staunch force for stability. However, China's close ties with Russia are raising concerns among European politicians. It seems like repairing ties with the EU won't be an easy task for China. Lastly, if Trump is re-elected in 2024, brace yourselves for a more tumultuous international experience. Foreign Affairs warns that Trump's second term would be even more dangerous, with multiple wars, great power rivalry, and a fraying liberal order. Rivals like China and Russia would thrive, while traditional allies would suffer. And there you have it, folks. That's the news for today. Now, let's dive into some analysis. It's clear that there are some deep divisions within the Republican Party when it comes to foreign policy. Nikki Haley's criticism of Trump's silence on Putin's actions highlights this divide. As for Ukraine, it's a critical time for the country, and the U.S.'s support is crucial. Will Republicans step up and align themselves with Ukrainian interests, or will they continue to lean towards Russia? In China, President Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign continues to target high-ranking officials. It's a reminder that no one is safe from scrutiny. And speaking of China, its foreign minister's promises of stability may not be enough to win over European leaders who fear a return of Trump and his unpredictable policies. China's close ties with Russia are also causing concern. Lastly, the thought of a second Trump term is sending shivers down the spines of many. With a transformed Republican Party and a more empowered team, Trump could wreak even more havoc on the international stage. Will the U.S.'s rivals thrive while its traditional allies suffer? The future remains uncertain. Now it's your turn, dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions? Share your ideas and let's have a lively discussion. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.